Boop. Hello and welcome back to the Sick Folks of Cinema. I am your host this week only. Get it while it's hot, Keith Graber. With me are the other sick folks. We have Christina Ceballos.
Hey y'all.
We have Stefan Bowman.
What's up?
And filling in for Heather Rogue, we have Mr. Ed Roesgen.
Hello.
Woo!
Um, guys, let's just start out and talk about what we've been watching lately. Stina, what do you got for us?
Well, I always do the usual drag race. There's some, miscellaneous shows. We watched a lot of Goldbergs this
Mm-hmm.
week, and it was very wholesome. It was nice. It was like a
I know
nice
Goldberg.
break because last Friday I watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier with my
Okay.
lovely boyfriend, and by the end of that first episode, I was like, "Are you goddamn kidding me?" Like, what? In like a good way. Like, I was absolutely like shook to the core. I was like, Marvel did not right now. They just ripped my soul out of my chest twice and then said, "Here you go." So we needed a little happy fun time.
Is that a series and it's on what, Netflix?
Disney Plus.
Disney
Disney
Plus.
Plus.
I got
Yeah,
okay, so I got to get Disney Plus now again.
Well,
of course.
there's big
If you
news on that front too, not to interrupt, but Black Widow is now officially coming out on my birthday, July 9th,
Mhm.
but not free on Disney Plus. You got to have
Of
Disney Plus
course.
and pay $30. But
You
I'm
got to
still going
pay
to
the
do it for that one.
copay
For
for
that one I'll
already
do it.
subscribing.
Yeah, for that one I'll do it.
That's a
So,
lot though.
no, I agree.
That's like us going out to the movies and getting popcorn. Like, that's a whole entire date that I'm not getting any popcorn. There's no icy. Like, I just get to see the movie.
Mhm. Yeah, I've been seeing
It's a
ads
lot.
for is it the Deadpool or
Which one?
the new Wolverine? I think it's the new Wolverine with Deadpool, but I've been seeing ads for that. And what's a theater release look like right now?
Not
For
big.
for which one? For Black Widow?
No, the new Wolverine.
There's a new Wolverine?
Yeah, and it's like Wolverine or a new Logan, and which is
Really? I haven't
and,
heard of that.
and
How
with
have I not?
Deadpool, or it's Deadpool 3. It's some sort of mashup with the two. I
Some
don't know
okay, I don't know.
three
Huh.
of if it's Deadpool 3 or Logan
It
3.
might it might be Deadpool, but I haven't even heard anything about Deadpool, and that's
Yeah,
kind of
but I
surprising.
distinctly saw the word theaters written there. I'm like, okay, let's see how this plays out. This will be fun.
Well, I did see that Black Widow was coming out because they're also releasing
Corella has a similar
Cruella,
thing, yeah.
and that I'm excited to see the
And
backstory on Cruella
oh
Deville.
yeah, and
Like,
then
oh my
Luca, the
god.
Pixar new movie Luca will be free on
Hmm.
Disney Plus June. Was it June 10th or the 17th? Something like that.
Thank God there's something free on there. I already subscribe.
No, no, yeah. I mean, Jesus, I don't think they should charge more than what 10, $15 for you to watch something that's extra. thirty
Yeah.
dollars, I think is too much. It's too much.
And I
Yeah,
mean, it kind of gives them a bad look because HBO Max has just been like, here you go, have it. It's
yeah.
free with HBO Max.
I'm
And
I'm
Disney Plus
really
is like, you got to pay $30.
I'm really confused about because Amazon does the same thing. I'm really confused about the subscription based situation. Like, am I paying or am I not paying for this shit? Like, why is there paying and then there's an extra pay and then you gotta pay more and then more?
It's very reminiscent of going to Disneyland and spending $65 on a sweatshirt when you're soaked on a water ride. Like,
Uh,
it's very like, well, I'm here. I guess I'm going to pay whatever price you give me because it's Disney.
and I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out there that I don't think that Disney and Amazon are making too little money right now. Is that like could we
That's a fair assumption.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's absolutely fair.
my 3.99 or whatever it is a month, that should be plenty for you guys. Get your shit together.
Hmm.
Tubi, we love
Yeah.
you. We love you for not doing all that stuff. The
Tubi,
ads are
we
weird.
adore you.
I don't even mind the ads on Tubi. I just want more variety of ads, and I want the breaks to not be in weird places. The breaks are like, it's
The
always on the
break.
jizz scene or whatever it is.
That was the thing with last week where I was like, oh, like it's gonna be over. Like this is the end of the movie, and then you just saw ad in 9, 8,
Yeah.
7. I was like, no, there's more after the jizz scene. Like, what is happening?
Maybe Tubi should do something like on sitcoms where when they come back from the ad break, they almost recap you just a little bit, like a couple seconds of overlap. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh, yes, you don't
It's
miss
like the
anything.
last
boys
scene.
used to be doing. They were mid
Ugh.
jump, and then we go back to the jump. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know if Hulu still does it. Maybe you guys can correct me if you know, but I'm pretty sure it was Hulu a while back where you could choose several ads over watching it, or you can choose one long ad.
Yeah, they used to. You could do the marathon at the beginning.
Yeah, I'd
That
rather
was
just
like
do that in the
2.5
beginning.
minutes, and you
Yeah.
watch the whole thing. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, I missed that.
Like, do your laundry and come back and
That's kind of nice though. Like
I'd
having
like
the
the
option.
choice.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
Oh,
do I want to suffer longer or do I want to suffer more frequently? Give
just
me
get it out
that
of the
option.
way.
Yeah,
just get
just
it out
rip
of the way.
Band-Aid
Fuck
off.
it.
here's the
Seriously.
thing though, I'm the king of like multiple pauses when Kimberly and I watch a movie, and I'm just like, we're 10 minutes in, I'm like, hold on, I want to get a drink, and then pause, and then hold on, I want
That's
to do
me.
this. You know,
Like we'll sit down and be like, all right, I'm ready, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, whoop, I
hold
want
on,
a
I want to go
pudding,
outside to see
I
what's
want a rice
Yeah,
cake,
it's just
I
like
want some water.
these terrible choices.
Gotta run to the bathroom since I'm in the kitchen, you know?
All right, Stefan, what have you been watching?
Similar sort of to Stina. I did watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Lots of good action. Obviously, tons of YouTube. I finished The Stand on Paramount Plus.
Mhm.
I heard really mixed reviews for it, and I don't know. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was a huge fan of True Blood, so I like Skarsgård. I thought he did really good in it, and there's a show with Michael Chiklis that I watched. I hope they put the rest of the season up there called Coyote. And that's really cool. It's about him being a border patrol guy who goes into retirement, and then he ends up wanting to help an old friend build or finish a property in Mexico, and then he ends up helping somebody who's connected to the cartel, and then has to deal with that shit, right? So he gets thrown in it. It's actually really good. And then again, Walking Dead, and I watched Freaky finally. For those that don't know Freaky, that's the one where he gets some type of, at least from the trailer without spoiling anything in the movie, he stabs this chick, they switch bodies. So Vince Vaughn is playing he's playing the cheerleader blonde chick. It's actually damn good, and the gore is fucking legit. Like,
See,
I was really
love
shocked.
that concept because we all know Vince Vaughn is a funny guy.
Oh yeah, I love Vince
But
Vaughn.
just the idea, like as soon as I saw him in the trailer, I was like, God damn, he would make an excellent serial killer. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, and so it has a lot of Michael Myers kind of Friday the 13th kind of trope stuff in there, but not too much. Kind of makes fun of that stuff a little bit.
Mhm.
And then just found out yesterday, and I'm on episode 3, and I guess they come out every Friday, so I guess it's been out for 3 weeks. I didn't even know it was fucking on there. Robert Kirkman, and I don't remember the other two gentlemen's names, have a adult comic book or graphic novel, if you will, series on Amazon called Invincible.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like if
okay.
Superman had a son, but the dad was questionably always in the gray area, never pure good type shit.
Mhm.
And it has gore galore, violence and sex and drugs. It's awesome. It's called Invincible,
Yeah, I feel like I've seen or heard
and it's on and it just came out not long ago, like 3 weeks ago, and it's on Amazon Prime. Definitely give it a chance if you're into like really dark adult animation. Think like that show on Amazon, The Boys. So if you like The Boys,
I was
love
gonna
The Boys.
say,
yeah, then you're gonna fucking love Invincible. Holy shit.
It's just animated.
Oh yeah, that's the only difference, really. It's just animated, but yeah, it's really dark. There's a lot of gore. It's crazy, man.
Ooh.
All right. Cool.
Then we
All
can
right.
put on the
So
list.
speaking of the boys, we have our resident Billy Butcher lookalike today as our guest. Ed Roesgen, what have you been watching, bud?
First of all, I'm thrilled to be here. And
That's a
I've just been
prerequisite.
I've been watching Sick Folks of Cinema podcasts on a loop 24/7, and I feel much healthier as a result. No, honestly, we just watched The Last Blockbuster, that documentary.
Ooh.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I watched.
I don't know if Christine has mentioned that we've been watching Wayne on
Ooh, how's that?
Amazon
I haven't.
Prime.
Yeah.
It is super entertaining.
Oh,
I
I'll have to
really
check
like
that
It
out.
it.
is.
It's
wow.
got it's got like this Coen Brothers flavor to it that
Ooh,
makes
nice.
it interesting enough to watch. The
Okay.
kids are great in it, the two main actors, because
Nice.
they're very young.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But
What is it? What's Wayne about?
it's basically about a kid who's just got a really rough life.
Mm.
He just lives with his father, who's like dying of cancer in the
Ooh,
first
brutal.
episode, and he's how do they describe him like a dirty Harry type?
Okay.
Like he's
Okay.
Yeah,
just
he's got an extreme vigilante complex where if he
super
sees some
vigilante.
like if he
complex.
sees some wrongdoing, he will fuck
Who's
shit
the
up.
other guy? Who's the guy I'm thinking of with the that they always
Batman?
make fun of on The Simpsons? The other vigilante that is around the era of Dirty Harry. Why I'm blanking on it? Come
I
on, you
don't
guys,
watch
you
The
gotta help me out.
Simpsons.
I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about.
there's a character on The Simpsons that always like makes fun of him. They always
Makes fun of Dirty Harry, right? Dirty Larry. Is it Dirty Larry?
okay.
No. Okay.
Stefan, you say you have nothing. Don't
Riveting.
make something.
That's what I thought it was. Like for real. I know I'm probably wrong.
No,
I
it's
know.
Flirty Larry. Yeah. and
Oh,
he's
okay.
Like, hey, I'm gonna flirt with you. Maybe you're gonna get lucky today. I don't. Oh, tip of my tongue. Anyway,
He'll think of it. It'll come. But it's a really it's a super entertaining show because Wayne is so unpredictable yet absolutely predictable at the same time. Like they lay out a scene and you're like, "Oh no, what's he going to do?" And it's he's very creative, let's put it that way. He's very creative in his like I'ma fuck shit up.
It says the name of the Simpsons character is Mick Garganel.
Death Wish. It's the Death Wish guy.
Charles
okay.
Bronson.
Charles
Oh,
Bronson.
I know who that is.
Yes.
I know who that
They
is.
have a guy
I have all 4 movies.
Charles Bronson on there, and it's
Charles Bronson.
Oh my god.
perfect. Yeah. Not the Charles Bronson who was in the Prisoner,
That's Charlie Bronson.
the Tom Hardy movie, which
Yeah.
I still want to see that. I haven't seen it.
It's
Which one is it?
amazing.
Which one?
I think was it called Bronson? It was called Bronson.
Bronson.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah. I've avoided that movie because I don't want, and power to whoever is into it. It's not my cup of tea. But my buddy's
Really
like, man, it's got the best dick scene you'll ever see,
yeah.
bro. I'm like, I don't want to see that shit.
Me.
After last week,
me
you're
too.
thrown off
That
by a little
protest
dick
too much.
scene.
I don't want to. I'm good. I'm good. I like my Venom. I don't want to. I don't want to see his penis. I'm okay.
So, by the way, Stefan, avoid all Harvey Keitel movies. Every single.
Oh, Harvey.
Bad
like,
Lieutenant.
oh. Oh, he has like a huge naked scene in that one, doesn't he?
He's got in everyone. Like I saw him one time he did a telethon and there was dicks out.
Oh my god, I saw a fun fact on TikTok about
Ooh.
Willem Dafoe. He did a movie and they needed to use like a stunt double for his penis.
A stunt cock?
Yeah, and it's not what you think. The director literally saw his penis and thought that is so cartoonishly big and distracting. We need a normal size one. I was like, wow. And then like the girl was literally like, yes, this Willem Dafoe. That's who I'm talking about. And it's like,
Wow.
okay,
Oh, my
it all makes
Lord.
sense now.
I'm surprised he doesn't lead with that. Like when he's when he meets.
I have a big Johnson. I want to be in
Say
your
about the stunt cock probably.
That's funny.
All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you, I've been watching also The Last Blockbuster, which was a cool documentary, I think. And I think
It was fun.
yeah, and the interesting takeaway, the one thing that stuck with me from that whole movie was when they explained that, it really wasn't, even though there was that whole buyout situation, it wasn't Netflix that destroyed
Nope.
Blockbuster. It was the economic downturn of, you know, the what's the proper phrase for it, from the around
Crash.
2008. Yeah, the crash and then the recession.
Yeah, that was interesting. I like that they up front in the documentary they were like, yeah, everybody thinks that Netflix is the reason Blockbuster went away, and it's not. And then they went and they just did the whole documentary and then touched on it and explained it at the end. But it was a nice little, like, because everybody thinks, you know, Netflix came around, the end of Blockbuster, but it's not true.
And it's not to say that that wouldn't still have happened, that Netflix would have outperformed Blockbuster. I think that would have been a total possibility. But that's technically not what did it.
Did it say in the documentary too that they had an opportunity to invest into Netflix and chose not
They had
to?
an opportunity to buy it.
Yeah,
outright,
fucking
and they
idiots.
chose not to.
And they
What
just
then
laughed
was
and
sort of
laughed.
like a high roller price, you know, like
Yeah, they fucked
Yeah.
up.
but now it's super cheap. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, I'm not gonna clown on that guy for not doing it. I mean, you never know what, you know, what the
Yeah, what's gonna be successful and fail?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. If
true.
I might kick myself for not buying Apple shares, but I'm not kicking myself for not buying Acer shares. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one knows the future. So
No, yeah. Just need
And
that
they were-
almanac. The
I
almanac,
mean,
bro.
they were the king of the world.
Mhm.
Why would they be shook or rattled by a little competition? Especially something like Netflix. They
Yeah.
probably just thought, like, oh, we can do it bigger and better. And they tried, and for some reason, it just
yeah.
didn't
I want to
take
say
off.
Blockbuster did have like a digital service at some
You
point,
could.
right?
They had a mailing, like you could, like mail. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how Netflix started. They just mailed you the DVD and you mailed it back when you were done watching it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think that they did have a website as well. I don't remember.
I remember seeing Blockbuster like on an image somehow, like in I think like a smart DVD player, or which back at that time that's the smartest you were gonna get. They didn't have smart TVs yet,
Yeah.
but the DVD players would have like apps embedded in them.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that. I never used it though.
And they even had a, I don't know if they still do now, but for a while they had what was like a something similar to Redbox, but it was a blue box.
Mhm.
And that had Blockbuster stuff too.
Oh, different.
Yeah,
Uh,
Blockbuster
yeah.
took every single step to compete and dominate what Netflix was doing. They basically said, oh, this is a cute idea. Let's do it better.
I think
Because you could stream stuff right from your computer. You could get the mail, you know, the mail DVDs. You could do all of that. You could rent games, anything. And then they even took away late fees.
Wow, that's
They
huge for
took
them.
away
Jesus.
late fees.
yeah.
Do you know how much money they made on late fees?
Yeah, the documentary said that
They lost so much.
they
Oh.
went down to like a third of what their income was, and the guy was like, are you saying they lost a third, or they, and he was like, no, their income literally dropped to a third of what they were making after they did that.
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh, that's
Oh,
rough.
yeah.
Their empire, because of the change in technology, the empire worked against them because they had basically all these stores that were like a huge like overhead that Netflix didn't have, you know.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I think Netflix still would have killed them because they didn't have as much out there to worry about, you know, that much overhead to reel
Yeah.
back. And so I don't know. So I also, speaking of Netflix, I've been watching this. It kind of is a stupid show, but it's, and I don't know what you call this. It's a little bit, it's like the documentaries with the reenactment type of thing. It's not really a documentary, but the Lost Pirate Kingdom. It's like,
Oh, I saw a trailer for that. Yeah,
I've been wanting to watch that. How is that? Is it silly? Is it stupid? Am I gonna love it?
it's what, I mean, I don't really know all the history, so I imagine it's like historically accurate to some degree. It's fun to watch if you like pirates. It's informative
Love
because it's like,
pirates.
oh, I didn't know that about pirates. But what's cool is it's like for that style of documentary or like History Channel show, it is gritty. It is like watching a movie. There's F-bombs, there's boobies, there's like
There's boobies.
there's
Heather approved.
throat slitting. They don't pull any punches. There's gore.
Oh, nice.
You know, like
Nice.
it's set up just like a pirate movie. It's
Nice.
outdoes Pirates of the Caribbean. It's not campy. It's just
I would be down for a good, even a pirate horror movie. To be honest, I've not seen one. That'd be
See,
pretty dope.
when I was younger, I was obsessed. And when I tell you I was obsessed, like I had an actual sword that someone gave me a cutlass when I graduated from high school, and it
Damn.
was my prize. It's still my prized possession. Like I am obsessed with pirates, and I was like, I bet you this is gonna be good. Like I just saw the trailer, and I was like, this is gonna be one of those things where I'm probably gonna watch it alone
I thought you were
because
gonna
you will have
talk
no
about how you
interest.
dressed as Captain Hook for Halloween when you were a little girl.
I did. When I
That's
was
dope.
like 3 or 4 years old, my
That's
mom
dope.
took me to the Disney store and she was like, "What princess do you want to be? What do you want to be for Halloween?" And I walked right over to Captain Hook and I was like, "This is it. This is the
Yeah,
look."
that's
Because I
dope.
have, like, even as a little girl, I had really
That's cool.
thick, big, curly hair. So my mom just blow dried my hair, just drew on a little squiggly mustache, and I went around with my little hook and I was Captain Hook.
That's fucking cool.
It's probably
Well,
one of my favorite costumes.
That's cool.
Stina, I'll say this.
Me.
Speaking of people dressing up as other people, that's the best segue you're gonna get from me today.
Amazing.
Well, I'm a little hungover. It brings us to today's movie that we're reviewing, Bubba Ho-Tep,
Yes.
starring Bruce Campbell.
Ozzie Davis.
I'm sorry, who?
Ozzie Davis. He was the gentleman who believed he was JFK.
Uh-huh. I
Believed he was. I have full faith in that man.
Oh, I'm sorry. And it was directed by Don Coscarelli, who did the Phantasm, the first 4 Phantasms, and the original Beastmaster.
okay. Don't get me started on the first Phantasm.
Okay.
Beastmaster was cool when I was a kid, but all right. This was a fun movie. I'm gonna go like so. This is another one where it felt like it had elements of other directors. It felt a little Cronenberg meets like Coen Brothers at times,
Yeah.
which was kind of cool. It was kind of raw, and it was all about like, the characters and dialogue and sort of like that dynamic between people. That kind of stuff I appreciated about it.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of like when people ask me like what kind of horror movies do you like? Like Bubba Ho-Tep
Mhm.
is that example because it's got just enough like silliness. The characters are always like super fun and super original. Like even the nurse was a
Oh.
very original character. Like she was so great. Like all the characters, they don't have to be believable because the story is even more unbelievable than these characters, and so it lets these amazing actors like Bruce Campbell and Ozzy just let loose and go full in, and it's so much fun. It's just so much fun to watch.
That
Oh,
nurse
yeah.
is straight out of a Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah.
And they had one of the actors who I think his name was Reggie in Phantasm. He was the ice cream truck guy. He's in the movie. He plays the the hospital director.
Mhm.
So you'll see him.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
So honestly, Bruce Campbell to me is the king. Like it makes sense
Absolutely.
playing the king because he is. I love his style. I feel like he could do no wrong almost.
Mhm.
I didn't love all of the Evil Dead films. I will say this, but I loved him in them.
Yeah.
I feel
Oh,
like
Yeah.
he brought as much
Also,
to it as he
a
could.
nice touch in this movie that I always laugh at is not only does he play Elvis, he also plays the Elvis impersonator. Like they could have easily gotten another dude who looks slightly similar, but it was literally him kissing his own rings. Like
Yeah.
just
I think what they wanted to do is really sell the concept that wow, this is the one that looks just like me. I can pull off the ultimate move I'm going for.
yeah.
Here. So
And it's a fun play on conspiracies. Because
Yeah.
y'all know I'm a conspiracy queen. I love me some conspiracies. And Elvis being alive and JFK still being alive somewhere are those are like the starter pack. Like you don't know where to go with conspiracies? Here, have these.
Yeah.
Do a little research, you'll freak yourself out, and it'll be fun.
I was waiting for a Tupac hologram to come in.
Oh yeah, no, it's a fun movie. I really like the atmosphere. I like the sets. A lot of the dialogue too, man. There's some really good, like meaty, good dialogue in there. Where a lot of
Some
other
good
movies
singers.
definitely they'll have a good amount of dialogue, but the dialogue is bad. It's just bad dialogue, you know. And there's some stuff in here that really gave him good, meaty stuff to say. Which some films you have amazing actors, and again, the stuff they got to say, you're like, what the fuck did he just say? That's what? That nobody talks like that.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but like every line that he had as Elvis Presley, even the inner monologues were just so spot on. Like,
well, he got to do his own narration in this, which is what you want if it's Bruce Campbell. You know, he's like narrating over himself. But even the line they gave him at the end where he died and said, thank you very much. Like, that was so...
One of my favorite lines in the movie was when he was describing the scarab. And he was like, it was huge, man. It was the size of a, peanut butter and banana sandwich.
if you got Bruce
Elvis
Campbell
measurement
on your payroll, get your money's worth out of that guy. And I don't know why he's not used more. Like I would expect to see him all over the place. He's probably in. I want to say my top 10 actors, but maybe.
Yeah.
Well, he was great on. Did you watch the Xena Warrior Princess series when that was on TV? Were you as lonely as me when that was running? Because I watched it all, and he was great on.
He was like the thief character, right?
Apart. Yeah, he was like the king of thieves. They wrote a part for Bruce Campbell basically, and he just killed it every time he was on. He was like a fan favorite.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
He did a comedy movie that I should have looked it up beforehand. I just didn't remember until now. But he did a comedy movie with the gentleman from Friends, and it had the girl from the remake of Bedazzled, Elizabeth Hurley.
A senator.
Huh?
Will the gentleman from Friends please approach
the But he did a comedy movie about, I think he was like he served people papers or something. Mm-hmm. He was a side character with Matthew Perry. So it was Matthew Perry and Bruce Campbell. And throughout the whole movie with Elizabeth Hurley, they're all just chasing each other. Mm-hmm. And even, in that, he was hilarious.
I think we don't see Bruce Campbell everywhere because he's a very specific actor. Mm-hmm. Like it's almost like a Jim Carrey where he uses his face a lot to act. And he's very slapstick. He's very physical. So I think he needs those like, okay, can I check every box in this role? And they won't let me play around with that. I have to be a little too serious. I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You can go first.
I was going to say, she just brought up his face. That was the one part of the movie that I thought fell short. Like, I'm all for the cheesy special effects with the big bug and stuff. Like, that was comical. It was funny. It actually added to the movie. But I thought that the makeup that they did for him being old Elvis, they could have spent a couple extra bucks on that. It was just like wrinkle plastered over. And they weren't even like, the wrinkles ran the wrong way. Like, you see my forehead? They're like a Klingon. It's supposed to go across. His were like running down.
It was like the morning after Halloween, and he just woke up drunk, hungover.
Yeah, that was my one major beef. Was the old man makeup could have been better.
Yeah,
that was all
I agree. He when I met him, I got to meet him. And the second time, it was the first or second. I forget which one it was when I met him at the Fangoria Horror Convention. One of the things that I told him, because I was listening to how when other people approached him, or even when he did his little thing where people get to ask him questions, nobody asked the one that I had thought of, and I was like really shocked. So when I finally met him, I asked him. I said, "What was it like to work with Jim Carrey?" Because he actually worked with him on a movie called The Majestic, which was directed by Frank Darabont of Shawshank Redemption, who also started the whole Walking Dead thing. And he played like a pirate / Robin Hood type character in like a Errol Flynn type movie that was in black and white that you see Jim Carrey watching. And that's Bruce Campbell in there with the goddamn sword, And I asked him, I said, so what was it like to work with him, being that you actually came before him and were already doing that slapstick kind of crazy face type stuff? And he chuckled and was like, I'm glad somebody noticed. He was very interested. I don't know. I just thought that was awesome. I loved him in that movie though.
Yeah. See, I think it would be so much fun to be an actor like that. An actor where a specific group of people know who you are. But if he was just walking down the street, I don't think people would just like, oh, that's Bruce Campbell. Like, you would have to be like, oh,
I think
weirdo,
he said as much in an interview that I saw. I saw
Really?
some like one of those YouTube, like we interview these people and it's like a series. I forget what the YouTube thing is, but they ask
Is it
them
the one
questions.
where they like have to answer Google's most like?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
And I think he said, like, I like being an actor that, certain people love me, but I can walk down the street without any issues. And
Oh, his anonymity or something like that.
yeah, I think he said as much. So,
That's gotta be the dream.
Lena, you guys are on the same track. Uh, I'll say that for me, this film felt, definitely way more comedy than horror, but I wasn't mad at that. I kind of enjoyed that. It was fun. It was good to see Bruce Campbell doing his thing, and I love the TV series or the whatever series. It was on FX, I think, of the Evil Dead, Ash versus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ash
I thought
versus
that was
Evil Dead.
brilliant.
On Stars, yeah.
Every episode, I want to see the. I don't know if they're going to pick it up again, but he's last I saw, he was on his way to the future. I hope to God someday we see that.
Oh yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
Please.
But for me, okay, now I'm going to get to all this shit talking about this because it's coming.
And
everybody.
here it is.
I'm just honest. Okay. For me, I felt like this movie was a little anemic on the actual horror, especially in the first like 2/3 of it. Of course, the ending, we get the monster and the fight and all that, but it was just the story was cool, but we weren't like I wasn't being given enough horror to feel that the whole time.
Yeah.
I could definitely have used more Mummy. I would
Yeah,
have loved to have seen him more.
more spooky goings on is going on.
Yeah, more ominous instead of just exposition, which is
Yeah.
all it really was.
And I literally wrote down, Ed, that there was too much spoken exposition instead of like thrilling horror.
Yeah, I know. I was peeking at your notes before. No, I'm just kidding.
Fucking Zoom. Why we all have these back. You can't see what's written on my walls.
I just cheat off the biggest nerd in the class, so I looked at it.
You found them. But you know what I mean? Like there's so many scenes of the king and JFK just telling you, like, just hand me the script, I'll read it. Like, it's cool to see you guys, but you know what I mean? Like, I wish there was a little more, like, I don't know, just scenery and maybe some more murders.
A little more of him sucking the souls from the asses of the old people.
More
That
gore.
would have been nice.
Yeah.
I would have appreciated that.
Mhm.
For sure.
More ass sucking is definitely the theme here.
Yes.
Okay, and then can we talk about the hieroglyphs? What do you, I don't even know
Bad.
what you call that technique. That was weird.
Where the hieroglyphics just like floated out of the mummy's mouth and was
Yeah.
just like, now it's translated for you.
You know what it reminded me of is every once in a while you'll see a movie and they're like, oh, with the story we're going to do some sort of gimmick where when people are en route to another scene, you see like little bubbles pop up and it's a tweet or whatever. Or there's some sort of like graphic or lower third gimmick in there and it doesn't always work. And sometimes it feels a little forced and gimmicky, and that kind of lost me a little bit.
I mean, in that sense, thank God there were only a couple scenes with the mummy.
Yeah.
I mean, because every time he spoke, there were just hieroglyphics. Like, and was it me? Like, I was slightly annoyed with how they were reading the hieroglyphics, like right to left instead of up and down, because that's how you read hieroglyphics. Is like you read from the top to the bottom, and I was like, you just turn it around. Just turn it around. You don't read it this way. You read it up and down.
Yeah. And
I learned that in 4th grade, and I'm sticking to it.
I didn't even mind as much that the mummy was like sassing him, that he was, talking some shit, and it was a little comic relief in there. Like it reminded me of Critters or something,
Oh yeah, I love the first
Critters.
Critters.
The Critters were talking shit, and that's fine. All you saw was the captions, and I'm fine with the captions. I think the boomerang, the shuriken hieroglyphs were a little bit of an overreach.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff that I think touching on even what Ed said about his makeup, that could have been a little better.
Mhm.
There's definitely some scenes that could have been either extended or shortened in certain parts. But I think it did need a little bit more mummy, and it needed at least anywhere from 1 to 2 more victims for us to kind of see what kind of, how he's, decimating this old folks home of sorts. And maybe even maybe this could help too. Maybe the hospital people witnessing it and, being like, what the fuck's going on, or something. Because it seemed like only the old people were experiencing it, and the people in the hospital just didn't have a fucking clue what was going on.
Yeah, they were just like, eh.
I feel like Bruce Campbell did a really good job of like portraying and embodying like an old fart. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
trapped in the home, like in his bed that he doesn't like. Everything's cheap and crappy, and you can almost smell like the, what I mean, the Epsom salt and the Bengay in the room. From looking at that scene.
I really like the scene where they, like, after they pick out their outfits and they're like, all right, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
And they, like, you just see, like, JFK coming around the corner, and then you see Bruce Campbell, like, just whipping the corner with that walker, and he made it look cool. Like, you knew in your head, you were like,
their little
that's
montage
Elvis.
shot.
Yeah, like, that's Elvis. Old Elvis, that's it.
Oh no, that was a cool shot. I think another thing that was really cool, or I thought was really funny, was when he's trying to capture the creature, and it's in the bedpan, and he doesn't realize it's still in there, right? And he's all turned around. I thought that was pretty funny.
It's all of that fun slapstick that he does. Like, you could tell he enjoys his life when you watch those scenes because he's having so much fun.
And I think another thing that's pretty hilarious is what they chose to be a distinguishing factor is for you to know who was the stunt double and who was Elvis. He still had the blueberry pie on his mouth. I was like, what?
I liked that, he said, he was like, oh, just another joker. And then he walks to the car and goes to open the door, and they're like, no, like, I got it, King.
Oh, yeah,
like,
that too.
He was
Yeah,
like, like, thank you very much, But it was just a nice touch of, like, yeah, he had the blueberry, and then he went to open his own
door. Yeah.
That was good writing. That's like attention to details. That usually I'm criticizing things like that in movies because I'm like, oh, you guys are thinking it through, and these guys thought it through, and respect to that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Also, can we talk about the 2 dudes that worked at the morgue that were, like, taking the bodies away?
Mm-hmm.
That one scene where they just, like, dropped the body and they were, like, in the bushes, like, trying to get it out. Like, there was no break. There was no cut from that scene. They did it so well.
I give those 2 guys a thumbs down. I did not enjoy any of their banter.
I thought their acting was bad. I agree. Yeah.
Kind of felt like filler, maybe. Like they needed something and they just kind of put it there.
It felt like they let them write their own dialogue.
Yeah, or it was improv.
Like, oh, the fleetingness of life. It's like, did you just come up with that working at a mortuary? Like, dude, that's not believable or realistic, and I didn't find it that entertaining.
I agree.
The part she's talking about where they dropped the body was probably the funniest part, and even that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It was a little bit of a hat on a hat too, because you need comic relief when you have Bruce Campbell who thinks he's Elvis talking to JFK who got dyed black in the other room.
It's hard to top that dynamic duo.
Yeah, I think we would have been good enough if they were just incompetent and they weren't trying to like get a comic scene out of it, or maybe their actions were maybe comedic, but the dialogue felt a little forced, and it felt like that was the one part of bad acting that I was seeing.
You know how like they'll do a thing where they say, send in 25 box tops to our contest, and if you win, we'll put you in an episode of what, like, those guys seemed like contest winners to me in the movie. Like,
Stefan was third in line for that role.
I was on the acting by those two. And now that I think about it, like, I wish they would have kind of commented, like, I know this is an old folks home, but there are a lot of people dying. Like, am I right? Am I right? Like, just
Yeah.
kind of poke fun. Like, somebody noticed that there was just an abundantly large amount of people dying. Like, that was the one thing they didn't play on in this movie, was it was supposed to be easy prey for this mummy. So where's the prey? Like, how easy is it? Tell me, show me how easy it is to pick off these old people, you know?
Yeah, I did like the scenes where he was eating lunch with all the other old folks, and they were just like a ragtag group of like old weirdos, and the food was crappy. Like it was just that.
Oh, how thick those slices of bologna were on the sandwich. Like,
that was just
appetizing.
Next to they had the string beans next to the applesauce. I saw that, and I just had
Yeah.
like cafeteria nightmares.
Oh, God.
Guys, okay. Here's another thing that like bugged me, and maybe I'm just not getting it, but the ending. Okay, so did he not set the mummy on fire, and then it didn't work, and then he's like, I'll just set him on fire again, and then it did work. What did I miss a beat? Did I was I something extra happen on a pee break? I don't know. Is that not how it went down?
I think they just needed a little bit more ammo. You know, the amount of, like, he didn't set him on fire enough. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So the second time did the trick.
Like the British railways, they perfected that, burning mummies. So you guys know what I'm talking about, right? That they used to actually burn mummies to keep the boilers going on the trains.
Wow.
The
Oh.
British
Crazy.
Empire was plundering Egypt. Yeah, they took all these mummies and they would make like pitch out of them, and I don't know.
Fuck, that's crazy. I didn't know
Grind
that.
them up to make pigments and stuff. There's a color
Wow.
called mummy brown. Yeah,
That's
mummies
Wow.
have been disrespected by the British more than. I mean, if anybody's gonna catch a curse,
Yeah. Yeah, I just that scene, that ending fell into my list of like least liked tropes, where it just I hate any do-over scene where, you know, the person escapes and then they get caught again and then they go back right into the exact same chair, locked up.
That was
and
your.
it ends with
that
an
was your
escape.
big
You're like,
thing with
what
the
are you-
Australian movie.
What's that?
That was your big
Yeah.
thing with the Australian movie.
Yeah.
You're like, how did you escape and not escape at the same time?
Oh, the loved ones. The
The
loved,
loved
ones.
ones, yeah.
That's the rinse and repeat plot of Phantasm. So I see where that thing popped.
Well, I mean, I think that's one of those low budget tropes.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Here's my improv act out of the entire movie of Phantasm. Let's go back to the house. What do you say?
Hey man, that one place that we left that was terrifying. Let's go back.
We could go get pizza. Or we could go back to the house. You want to just go back to the house? We're safe now, but let's go back to the house.
Let's go.
You did it like 30 times. Like what the fuck? Anyway,
God.
all right, guys.
Well, y'all were talking about mummies and how desecrated they've been, you know, throughout human history. They also used to eat mummies.
Oh,
You see mummies.
yeah. I
The
think.
British.
Well,
Like, yeah, like basically, like, they would, like, if they didn't turn them into pigment, if they didn't burn them, they'd be like, oh, this one's still got a little meat on the bones. Let's
Yeah.
try some mummy. And it's like, there's no better way to get a curse. Like, no
Yeah.
wonder.
Curse of diarrhea.
These people built pyramids for the dead, like, for themselves. That's like designing a whole house just so your body can just chill there for all eternity. You got everything you need. You got a kitchen, you got the kitchen sink, and then somebody comes along and eats you. Like, that's fucked up.
yeah. I mean, I don't know why you would. You know, like I've said before, I never want to be buried. I want to be cremated because I'm like,
Oh yes.
it's over with.
I don't know worms in my body. Fuck that.
You sign up to be mummified and like, no, I could see this going on for a long time. All right, guys, it's time to rate this movie. 1 to 5 stars, or 0 to 5, whatever you feel.
Or -1.
Yeah. No, you can't give negative numbers. And you can't crank the dial to 11. We
He
don't.
does the math. He makes the rules.
I got the
no negative
calculator
numbers.
out right now. All right, Tina, what are you gonna rate this?
I'm gonna give this 4 stars because I love me some Bruce Campbell. The story was it was more ridiculous and bigger than my brain could come up with. Like I love movies where like how did you think of that? Like where did that come from inside your brain? Because that's where I want to go in my brain. That's a fun place.
Mm.
So, I have to give it 4 stars just for there were some bumps in the road. That's why it didn't get, the 5 stars, but for what it was, 4 stars, absolutely.
All right, Stefan.
Since ours only goes to 5, I was gonna give it a 6, but no. I, I like what the hell? I'm with Steen. I'd give it a 4. I'd give it a 4. It's one of those that I really thoroughly enjoyed. It's not perfect, but for what it is, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed it enough to fucking buy it. So I mean,
Yep, I don't have
if I
my
hated it,
copy
I'm
with
not
me.
buying it. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm a huge Bruce Campbell fan. I'm a huge fan of Ozzie Davis.
Bruce, we love you. Come on our podcast.
Oh yes, and I'm a huge fan of freaking
Green
the
Guy.
director Don Coscarelli because I watched Beastmaster nonstop when I was growing up. Rip Torn, for those of you who know him from Men in Black, he was amazing in the Beastmaster. So yeah, I'm just an all around huge fan. And like I said, even with its imperfections, that makes me kind of just love it a little more. Even though some of them, like you guys said, the coroners, I mean, you could have edited them out, and I'd have still been fine. But yeah, I give it
Yeah.
4.
4 stars. Ed.
I'm gonna go with the same. I think it's a 4-star movie. It's actually something I'd watched before. I enjoyed it on the rewatch. So
Okay. Guys, I'm not trying to be look. I'm not gonna be. I'm with you.
Debbie Downer alert.
I can't give it 4 because the 4 to 5 star category for me is like great movies. They're perfectly rewatchable, and I would recommend them like to anyone. This I feel like didn't quite get there because of the flaws that we talked about, but the acting was superb from Bruce Campbell.
We love you.
The concept and the dialogue, the story was fun. It was really well. Like I felt, like I said, was a good Coen. The Coen brothers are my favorite directors, and this felt like a Coen brothers vibe. But overall, and especially with the ending and a little bit of the shortcomings with the horror and the mummy, it didn't have that, epic feel of like, this is rewatchable. This is a classic. I love this film. You should watch it. Like it didn't quite get there. So I got to give it 3.5 stars and ruin the entire fucking rating system for everyone here.
But still, 3.5 stars is not bad. Like, yeah, we
Good
did
movie.
talk about there were a lot of flaws, but they were easily forgivable. Like it's not something that you were like. We've had movies where something happens or we notice something and we're like, I'm taking
Lifeblood,
out.
dude. Lifeblood. That's
Yeah.
like, I don't know if you can get worse than that. I'm sorry. I just don't think so.
Yeah, like like if this movie was a human being, like yeah, I see the flaws, but you're still a lot of fun. I'm gonna hang out with you.
There's certain movies that exist where if I recommend them to somebody and they don't like it, I know there's something wrong with that fucking person. This is not one of those movies. If I recommend this movie and you don't like it, I'm like, I see why you could say that, But if you're a Bruce Campbell fan, this is a must watch for the folks.
I feel that way with the original Fright Night. Like I recommended it to a buddy. He's like, that's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I'm like, how are we friends?
Yeah, I don't like that. All right, guys, are you ready to see what the options are for next week?
Yes.
Yes, I'm ready to take a hammer to my balls. Let's go.
Okay, so here's what I did in honor of Bruce Campbell being king. I realized that we haven't really done any movies of the horror king, which is Stephen King.
Ooh,
Oh, wow.
I own almost all of his stuff, so this works out for
I
me
picked
perfectly
out some Stephen
fine.
King films, and I went with some more recent ones and ones that I haven't seen because everyone knows the classics, which we'll get to at some point.
Oh, there's a lot of good ones.
But so I picked some of the
Ooh, I own that in 4K, baby. It's time for the 6th watch. Let's go.
recent films from Stephen King.
Oh, I love Dr. Sleep. Fuck yeah.
Yes. I haven't seen it yet.
Director's cut if you rent it. Director's cut.
Mhm.
Don't get the regular one.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Ewan McGregor. Look at him.
Obi-Wan, baby. Woo! Can't wait.
Anakin.
There it is.
Red ram.
Red Ram.
You're magic, like me.
I need you to listen to me. The world's a hungry place,
Mm,
a dark place.
Bad guy's fucking amazing, dude. The actress. Oh,
I only met 2 or 3 people like us. They died. When I was a kid, I bumped into these things.
I didn't even show you the shirt I was wearing. Shining.
I don't know about magic.
So it's funny you picked this one, Keith. I'm wearing the Shining shirt.
Oh yeah.
I always
yeah,
called
see?
it The Shining.
It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I love the fucking Shining. Stanley Kubrick, we trust. Not to interrupt, but you haven't seen this one, Keith? Wow. Wow. Yeah, don't watch anything but the extended cut.
How's the volume?
It's good. The soundtrack of the original too, man. Fucking, yeah, I love that movie, man.
All right. So we got Stefan's attention.
Oh no, dude. You just say The Shining, Jack Nicholson, bro. It's Stanley Kubrick. I'm fucking in.
All right. Next one.
Oh, that was a good one too. Fuck.
Gerald's Game.
This one was great.
Badoom.
This is gonna be good for us, Jess. Really good.
Oh, I love
That's a marriage, isn't it? Working on the difficult things.
For better or worse.
Let's go in, get comfy. I bet you think your husband will be back any minute. Try to go for him. There's no one for miles.
Gerald?
I'm sorry, baby. You don't get to know my name.
I don't like this. I'm serious. Stop.
Like that. Like,
Stop it!
are you playing?
Is this really what it takes these days?
God, how did we go so wrong? We were happy once, weren't we?
Gerald? What? What's happening?
Oh.
Gerald!
Fuck that noise. Absolutely.
Wake up. Just wake up. It's time to wake up, honey.
5 hours you've wasted screaming for neighbors that are half a mile away, if they're even here yet.
How long do you think someone lives without water? That will not work.
You can pull till your wrists break. You're not getting out of those cuffs.
You're not real.
Ooh.
You're not real. Little baby, don't say a word.
Focus. You've been sleepwalking since you were 12 years old.
That's a beautiful dress.
He put you in those handcuffs way before Gerald did.
You all right? You all right, Mel?
You had everything you need to survive from the beginning. You just have to remember. Back off!
If you don't wake up, you're gonna die.
That's a great fucking movie. Great screenplay, great director. Oh, it's good.
I'm gonna throw that in the category of torture porn. So not
That's self-torture porn. Oh
not
my
a fake,
god,
but
that's
yeah.
a nightmare that I've had.
Okay.
That's one of the better Stephen King modern ones for Taylor Swift.
1922 is the next one.
Oh yeah, I've seen this one.
There you go.
With the Punisher dude.
1922. A man's pride was a man's land.
Thomas Jane,
And
that's
so
his name.
was his
Oh yeah.
son. My wife. She wanted us to leave all this behind.
We can move.
Cities are for fools.
We divorce. We both know that's what you want. Life is rarely fair, especially out here.
And I believe that there's another man inside every man. A conniving man.
I'm gonna sell. You, my son, are coming with me.
This is our house. In 1922, I murdered my wife.
Want a glass of lemonade, Sheriff?
Could I look in the house? She only took the one suitcase.
Woman would have to be crazy to leave a nice house like this one.
That's just all.
Aunt his ass.
I hope there is no God. Because if there is no heaven, then there's no hell.
All right, guys, those are your choices.
That one wasn't bad.
First of all, congratulations on some top choices, Keith. Those were great picks. Oh my god.
So what'll it be, folks?
Who wants to go first?
I don't know. I'm still
just
trying to
volunteered.
decide.
Okay, Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep.
Shining 2, baby. Yes.
Ed, you
I
get a vote
mean-
as well. You're part of the team. You're a sick fuck now, like it or not.
Right, you sick fuck.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Oh, the excitement.
It's
palpable.
Hang on, let me text everybody I know.
You're pulling an excellent Heather right now.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna vote for 1922 since I'm gonna be stuck watching it even though I'm not on the show.
I was okay. I'm gonna go with 1922.
And that's the slowest, longest one.
because as much as I want to see Doctor Sleep, as much as Gerald's Game will literally haunt my nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good vengeance story.
Mm-hmm.
I love when a ghost is just, I'm here and I'm gonna haunt the fuck out of you.
I've
Did
had
you
that in
wrong.
my lineup actually for a long time on Netflix, and I've already saw my first flaw that I'm going to pick apart.
I already have my rating for it, bro. I already have my rating for
Guy
it.
lives in a cornfield, and a giant cornfield, and throws his dead wife down a well or a root cellar or whatever, and instead of burying her out in the field where no one will ever be able to find her because it's.
Jeez, someone's been thinking about it.
But wait till you
Love
see
you,
the.
honey.
I won't spoil it, but when you see the plot twist, you're not going to be happy.
Okay. Well, spoiler alert, it's in a book somewhere. Guys, that was a great episode. So next week we're reviewing 1922.
Sad face.
Based on a story by Stephen King. And yeah, check back with us to see what we have to say about it, and more input from all the sick fucks. Sick folks is what we're called. Maybe we'll have Heather back by then. But thanks for tuning in. See you guys.
Bye.
Later.